Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. So, for those of you who follow George Galloway, he's been arrested a few days ago in Gatwick Airport. He's just another line of long list of truth tellers in UK who get arrested by the police. I myself got arrested a couple of years ago. So did other journalists like Richard Medhurst and a few others as well, British. There's no freedom of speech here in UK, guys. Every time you release a video or you say something, you are under surveillance, and these police can come and knock on your door at any time. They really want to make your life as difficult as possible. You can see Richard Medhurst doesn't do videos anymore because he's under bail conditions, and same with me as well. I've been under huge bail conditions for a couple of years. It's only recently that they dropped the charges and I'm able to make videos again. But yeah, there's no free speech in UK, and it's getting worse and worse. So this brings me to my next topic I wanted to talk about is digital ID. So Starmer has said that he wants to bring out digital ID in UK. And this is going to be a huge, huge issue for truth sellers and journalists. And they are going to be controlling millions of people using digital ID. So, for example, if you say something on social media that they do not like, they can basically stop you from getting work, they can sanction you, they can block your bank accounts. They can do a lot of stuff with digital ID, guys. There's no limit to what they can do. They can stop you from accessing the internet. They can completely blacklist you. They can stop any source of money coming into your account. They'll know where you are. They can track you. It's unbelievable that they want to release this in the UK. So, what excuse they are using? They're basically using immigration as an excuse, and this is happening in the US as well. So, the real people in charge, the real people who are destroying the UK, we're talking about the rich bankers, the billionaires, the people that own hedge funds, the people that own the City of London, all the financial bankers, Bank of England, even rich Jews in UK are basically getting away with it because right now the middle class is growing lower and lower every single year. There's more and more people from middle class going into poverty because of the cost of living, because of inflation. So a lot of people, millions of people are angry because their lives are getting worse. So there's a government initiative to push a narrative that it's the fault of the immigrants. This is why their lives are getting worse. So you have millions of retarded British who are now blaming the immigrants because their lives are getting worse when they should be blaming the government, they should be blaming the rich bankers who are stealing money from them because they are debasing the currency. Like the pound is is losing its value every single year because they are printing money. They are devaluing it using inflation. The cost of living is going up. The bankers are squeezing the middle class by usury. For example, all the mortgages and loans. So people at the top are getting richer and richer, while the people at the bottom are getting poorer. So there's an online, you know, push at the moment on social media, on newspapers, basically blaming the immigrants. That's what they're doing. So you have all these retarded British people who are not very clever, let's just say that. They're not very clever because they've been brainwashed for years now. Lots of British people, all they do is watch television, which, you know, British television, there's nothing that's gonna make you higher IQ. It's all low IQ stuff on British television. All of it is just low IQ. It's, daylight television. It's designed to make you not think. And so a lot of people watch television. A lot of people on social media getting brainwashed. A lot of people watch, Netflix and movies, brainwash them even more. Reality TV. And a lot of men watch football, which is also low IQ stuff, guys. I mean, it's fine. If you like sports, it's fine, but don't let it take over your life. I mean, I know you can see like football hooligans, when UK goes abroad to play football in other countries, you can see all the football hooligans, low IQ, going out, drinking and destroying the city. So don't let it take over your life. Some people just breathe and live football all their lives. So it really makes them low IQ. Means that they don't know what's happening in the world. They don't know who to blame. So the papers are pushing a narrative to blame the immigrants. So they blame the immigrants, and now Keir Starmer has said that because of immigrants, we want to release the digital ID, and this is going to stop immigration, according to Starmer. When anyone with a brain will know this is not going to stop immigration. You know, a lot of illegal immigrants who come here, they're not going to have digital IDs. They're going to still stay here. They're going to still work, and, you know, when they work, it's cash in hand. I live in, I used to live in London, and there used to be a lot of them hanging around, major construction companies. In UK, we have something called B&Q, which is a major construction company, and they used to hang around outside these shops. So if someone comes to buy construction material from B&Q, they used to see all these illegal immigrants hanging out outside, so they used to hire them on the day. So they used to be laborers, and so you pay them cash on the day, and that's how they live. And that's not, digital ID is not going to stop that. When you get paid cash in hand, it just avoids all the digital ID stuff. So they're blaming digital ID, and also newspapers and social media, and even Elon Musk is promoting people like Tommy Robinson. So Tommy Robinson is basically a, a- an activist, English national activist, and his company is called the English Defence League, called EDL. And the EDL used to be called the English and Jewish Defence League. You can see. So why is it called the English and Jewish Defence League? It's because it's funded by Jews. And Tommy Robinson himself, he said that he he uh, he is a Jew, and he will fight for the IDF, and he supports the Jews. So the Jews control him. So his narrative is to push anti-Islam hate, because when you push anti-Islam hate, this makes what they're doing in Palestine more acceptable to the West. So if they dehumanize the Muslims, if they dehumanize the Palestinians, what they're doing is not going to matter to a lot of Western people, especially British people. So they're using Tommy Robinson to push this anti-Islam agenda for the Jews. You can see it used to be called the English and Jewish Defence League. He changed it because of the backlash he was getting. And that's his job. That's his job to kind of blame the immigrants, and not any immigrants. They want to blame all the Muslim immigrants, by the way. They don't care about Indian immigrants. When India is the biggest immigrants in UK and other countries around the world, like 250k Indians come into UK every single year, and a lot of them don't work. A lot of them are on benefits or studying, and so they don't say anything about that. They want to just target all the Muslims. So Starmer is bringing out this digital ID in UK, and this is just gonna make things worse. And people like myself, I won't be able to live in UK because they'll target me for sure. They will close all my bank accounts. They will stop me from accessing the internet. They will stop me from my free speech. I will have to leave before that, and hopefully I will be able to move before that. Obviously, I'm trying to sort a few things out. But yeah, things are not looking good in UK, guys. So let's talk about the next subject. So the next subject I was going to talk about is Charlie Kirk. So I'm not going to talk about the whole Charlie Kirk incident here. I'm just going to talk about this conspiracy theory that's been going around at the moment. So there's a film in Hollywood that got released about 20 years ago with a 1998 movie with Nicolas Cage called Snake Eyes. So I don't know if you've seen that film, guys, but you should watch it. But there are huge similarities between that film and what's happening right now. So in the movie, the character that gets killed and gets shot in the neck is called Charlie Kirkland. And you see the similarities. Charlie Kirkland, he was called. And another similar thing was this incident in the movie happened in September 10th, which is the same date that Charlie Kirk got killed. And another really big coincidence is the shooter in the movie was called Tyler. And real life, the real shooter in the guy who killed Charlie Kirk, his name's Tyler Robinson. So you can see it's the same name of the shooter, same date, September 10th, same victim, Charlie Kirkland, without the land. And this film was released in 1998. So you can see there are some huge issues going on. And I don't know about you guys, there's a lot of black holes in this whole story about Charlie Kirk being killed. There's a lot of black holes. For example, they initially said they arrested an old guy, about 70-year-old old guy, and you had the FBI director posting on his social media saying, "We caught somebody, he's a 70-year-old man." And then they decided, oh, actually, this is not believable. We need to find somebody else. And then they found Tyler Robinson, who to this day he still denies killing Charlie Kirk. By the way, he's denied it. And the FBI have said that they've got lots of evidence of him having chats with his LGBTQ plus boyfriend, and they were talking amongst themselves. But when I looked at you know, the conversations they were having between themselves, it was released on X. It was definitely not something. It doesn't seem very right. It doesn't seem like two people having a conversation. For example, when Tyler messaged this person, he started with the message, "Hi, it's me, Tyler, your beautiful boyfriend," or something like that. I mean, who introduces themselves like that after a killing? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And in also in the message, he was saying, "Oh, the FBI director has got a really good new director now, the Kash Patel. He seems to be very clever and on the ball. He seems to have changed the FBI now. They are such a great FBI unit now." So he's praising the FBI. I mean, come on. I mean, who does that? I mean, especially with Kash Patel, he's probably the worst FBI director ever. And uh, and then he was admitting in the messages, "Oh yeah, I killed him. I just killed him. I'm so happy." Blah blah blah. It just doesn't make any sense, guys. There's so many holes and stuff, and where Charlie Kirk got killed, the area where he got killed, rather than making some sort of memorial or anything like that, they are redeveloping the place. They have destroyed the area. They've destroyed all the evidence, and they've redeveloped it now. They're turning it into something else. And also, I saw some videos of I'm sorry, of Kirk's security guards, and they were making some strange hand signals before he got shot. And there was a trap door underneath him as well, which was shown in the videos. There's so many holes in this story, guys, and I never believe anything that comes out officially from the FBI or the government, because you gotta understand. If they're covering something up, they can easily cover it up. And this guy, Tyler Robinson, seems to be like a pansy. Same way the pansy of the JFK killing. I can't remember his name now, but yeah, they made him into a pansy. It looks like they got another pansy here to take the fall. Well, while the real shooter is probably out there somewhere, which who will never be found, by the way. It could be somebody from Israel who never know. I mean, there's lots of conspiracy theories that Israel killed him. Obviously, I can't prove anything, but you know, he seems to be turned near the end. In the last few days of before he got killed, he seems to be turning. He was speaking out some anti-Israeli stuff, and he's started to talk about some truths. So maybe Israel thought that killing him is better than him turning on Israel because he's got a huge following, and that would have been a disaster for Israel if he turned. So there's lots of conspiracy stories out there, but let me know what you guys think. Well, do you believe the story that's coming out of the government and the FBI, or is there more to this story than meets the eye? Anyway, let's go to the next one. This is a funny one, guys. South Korea is basically accusing Trump of extortion, doing extortion from them. So, as part of the trade deal, Trump has announced that South Korea was going to pay 350 billion as part of the trade deal. And then 1 week ago or a few days ago, Trump announced that South Korea will have to pay 350 billion upfront. Upfront, they want, the Americans wanted it from South Korea. So the South Koreans are absolutely shocked by this. They are calling it extortion. South Korean media is, they all like blasting Trump. People in South Korea are saying, we cannot take this embarrassment. We need to ties with America. They are extorting us like gangsters. We cannot pay 350 billion upfront because if South Korea paid 350 billion upfront to this is money they don't have, by the way. If they paid that upfront to America, the whole country will collapse. They will have to go to the IMF for bailout because they have not got 350 billion to spare. Already, South Korea is having huge economic issues. They are losing a lot of market share to China and things like that. So they don't have 350 billion to spare. Also, a few weeks ago, there was a huge bunch of South Koreans that got arrested. They were basically working in Hyundai's battery plant. And they were there legally, by the way, because lots of articles have come out saying these were legal workers. They were on a visa, they were helping the company build a battery plant. And they all got arrested. It wasn't just the fact that they got arrested, they got humiliated. They were in chains, they had chains around their legs, they had chains around their arms, they were videotaped, they were absolutely humiliated. They were put into this back of a van, and some of them were abused, really rough-handed. They got rough-handed and they got abused. They got humiliated in front of the camera, and these videos, pictures were sent all over the world, including South Korea. And South Koreans were absolutely shocked by this, by the treatment of South Korea. And they were supposed to be one of the major allies of the United States. So South Korea is asking the questions, if that's how they treat their allies, what is the point of being friends with America? What is the point? So South Koreans are absolutely shocked by America's behavior and the way the South Koreans are being treated. They are not being treated like allies. They are being treated like food. Like prey. You know how prey is prey on food. Is now basically being used to extort money out of. And there is no benefit of being America's friend at the moment. First of all, you get tariffed. Secondly, your people get handcuffed and abused and arrested. Thirdly, you get extorted for money. Fourth is you get you get told by Americans to stop selling chips to China and to stop building factories in China, stop working with China. So you have to listen to America to basically destroy your own economy. I mean, China is South Korea's neighbor. So if you cannot trade with with China, who are you going to trade with? You cannot trade with America anymore because they've put all these trade tariffs on you and treat you like garbage. So who are you going to trade with? I mean, Japan is also getting the same treatment as South Korea, by the way. So it's not just South Korea. The only difference is Japan is not saying anything. They're taking it like good little puppets. So I've got to say, all of this stuff is happening. I got to blame South Koreans for this. I mean, they have been idolizing the Americans. They basically treat Americans like gods. They are gods to South Koreans. They don't like the Chinese, obviously due to kind of years of brainwashing by the American media and also lots of Americans stationed in South Korea. So they help South Korean brainwash them into thinking Chinese are enemies. When China has helped South Korea many times in the history, they helped South Korea from the Japanese who were genociding them and stuff. So they make China look like the enemies when the real enemies are the United States. This is my opinion, guys. I think what South Korea should do is cut all ties with America, and then South Korea's life will improve. South Korean lives will improve 100%. Because if they cut ties with America, they do not have to deal with all of this American nonsense anymore. And then South Korea and North Korea would have peace because China will actually help broker peace between North Korea and South Korea. South Koreans want peace, North Koreans want peace, and and I think instead of America kind of being in South Korea and you know causing all this friction between the countries, I think the Chinese and South Koreans and North Koreans would be able to sort out a peace deal. And if that happens, South Korea can live in peace, they can trade with China, and you can see the people prospering, and American troops will be out of the country, and then North Korea will obviously have peace with South Korea, and they can trade with one another and start living as brothers and sisters. Because they are brothers and sisters, they are, Koreans at the end of the day. So that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now.